Okay, people, from what I'm looking at, and I've looked at many things, one, a bad indicator is Donnie's not taking questions, but that's Donnie's usual act after he performs some abomination in the dark of night. The Reich and Donnie just hide for a little bit. That's normal procedure. But this feels a little different. Donnie literally last night ran from reporters asking about the dead soldiers, the dead American soldiers. The footage of the damage that Iran has done to Israel, to American bases, to various locations they fired missiles and drones at. We are not seeing a lot of that footage, which is exactly what I expected. Um, Again, Donnie doesn't want to look stupid. What I told you yesterday, BB doesn't want to look stupid. They got big plans. They got stars in their eyes, and they're not seeing the whole picture because of those plans they have. Again, from what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing now, RT, which is Russian media, and Iranian media is saying at least 500 U.S. soldiers have been killed in various strikes. There's even footage of a Navy ship being hit by a missile, but here's the problem. A lot of the footage coming out is AI or old or people just wanting clicks and views, intentional obfuscation of the news coming out. This is why Leon and Vlad and Puff Daddy and the Saudis bought Twitter. The reason why I build a news feed on Twitter, I realized several years ago that it was the quickest, most real-time information. You didn't need the news anymore because it was already on Twitter about 3 seconds after it happened. Other websites, you could say similar things. The news comes pretty quick. So that's why I developed a news feed there. Because it's the fastest and the most reliable people that I have gathered are there. So again, the Iranian news and the Russian news are saying 500 dead. Do I believe that number? No. Those are the exact kind of reports I expect from the Middle East and from Russia. We've always gotten reports like that during conflicts from those news agencies. You saw the same type of thing in Iraq when that war was going on. You saw abject bullshit news coming out of Iraq and their people and their allies that wasn't remotely true, to save face, to make it look like they were in the fight when they never were in the fight. They never had a chance. We're getting those same type of reports now. Nice round number of 500 U.S. dead. That I don't believe that for a second. But it's becoming difficult, and I'm seeing a lot of comments saying the same thing. It's becoming difficult to get real news. And that's exactly how Leon and the Reich and others wanted it. They've succeeded in that. So we have to read between the lines of what we're seeing, just like we did with the mob, just like we do with everything. Because we deal with liars. So reading between the lines, seeing the Reich basically not saying shit. Hegseth ain't out there bragging and boasting about how great it all is. Donnie running from reporters. They gave us a number of 3 U.S. dead. I don't believe that number either. I think the number is higher. I just saw footage of American pilots in Kuwait. Allegedly, 2 jets have crashed. And the pilots actually were assisted by the people in Kuwait when the planes came down. There was a picture or footage of one pilot in the back of an SUV laying down. Allegedly, that was an incident just amongst the American military and not an attack of some sort that took those planes down. Now, I've seen other footage of a plane going down in Iran, an Israeli or American plane. So they admitted to 3 deaths so far. The fact they're not answering no more questions and they're really not telling us anything. And from the footage I've seen of several strikes, yeah, I'm thinking there's more than 3 dead. I'm thinking there's more dead in Israel, my God, than they're telling us. I'm thinking this thing's going to continue for a little while. And it could be World War III, if it isn't already. And from reading between the lines and looking at everything in the past few hours and last night, my assessment is there's probably more than 3 Americans dead. There's way more Israelis dead than they're showing us. The damage is more extensive than they're telling us. Donnie and Pete, the incompetent morons with stars in their eyes for all the grifts and lies and monumental events they want to happen. I think they just realized, and they're in a kind of a shell shock moment where, oh shit, some people might actually retaliate. Some missiles might land. Some troops might die. And we thought we were just going to go in, kill the leader, kill the next 30 people that might be leader, because that's what they did in Iran. I hope you understand that. They got the locations of pretty much anyone that remotely even was whispered that could be a leader. From the past, for the future, and the current ones. That was the mission. That's the fear Donnie and Hegseth are trying to instill in others. That's why Donnie keeps saying, we know exactly where you are, to the cartels, to the people in the Middle East they want to eliminate, and others. Yet he never says that about Vlad. That's interesting, isn't it? But he'll say it about anyone else. We know exactly where you are. Donnie keeps saying that. Have you noticed? In speech after speech. Depending on who he's talking about. Cartels, Muslim leaders, whatever. Trying to instill a fear and let the most powerful people in the world know that are used to being protected. We know your exact location. We could take you out whenever we want. And that's what just happened. This wasn't just an attack on a country. They went after specific names and places that could be leader or that were leader. Any name they could think of. So they took out a whole bunch of specific people. Not just an army base in Iran. So motherfuckers are pissed. And what did we just actually have? What just took place? The assassination of a bunch of leaders in Iran. And that was the mission. If another country had come here and done that to us, we'd call it World War III. We'd call it a war. Hypothetically, let's say Iran attacked us in the middle of the night. They killed Donnie, Hegseth, Ted Cruz, a bunch of senators, congressmen, our president, the vice president, maybe the head of the War Department as well. All those people were dead overnight. And Iran was telling their people, it's not a war, it's just a terrorist strike that we're authorized to do, thanks to George Bush Jr. taking all of your rights away. We're just running with that idea. If any country did that to our country, if any country bombed our country and stole our oil and said, we're just taking it and we're going to put the money in a Qatari bank account, problem? We'd call that a war, wouldn't we? We'd call that an attack by another nation, and we'd want revenge, right? Right. Like after 9/11, right? That spawned a war. We didn't just call it an attack. We didn't call it just a kinetic strike. It turned into like a 30-year war because America was allegedly attacked. And we all watched it on television. The responsible parties and who planned it and all that, we can debate that, but the narrative shown us was an attack against America that spawned a 30-year fucking war, and we back there again. Because that's what the GOP likes. That's what the fascist party likes. Taking over the Middle East. I remember when those towers got hit, and you know what my first thought was? They found a way to get us in the Middle East. By they, I mean the GOP, Dick Cheney, Bush Sr. And I know exactly what it meant, son. Even all the way back then, even though I didn't have the knowledge I have now, but I had suspicion, and I had enough knowledge to understand what I was seeing. And what I was seeing was a Pearl Harbor moment, our real entrance to the Middle East, where the American empire just takes it over or attempts to. And we never really took it over. That's a land that will not be subdued, son. You got people living in the desert, and they surviving. They're tough people. And although America installed its puppets in various Middle Eastern countries, it's still not America's. And at that moment in 2001, as I'm watching the towers burn, I thought to these motherfuckers, because that's where all the end time shit takes place. The majority of it is the Middle East. That's where the Holy Land is. That's where all the big fights are for thousands of years. So let's get the dumbass American military in there with the big guns. And, get all the people out in those regions to hate us even more. And that's what they did. And again, I thought they found a way to get us in the Middle East. And boy, did they. We still got troops there to this day. And now that the cherry on top of it all, the country they really wanted to take over, Iran, finally Bibi gets his dream. And the GOP get their dream. And it's probably going to spawn World War III. Because Iran actually has weapons. They've been stockpiling a long time. So we've been in the Middle East ever since in a huge, huge way. And now we right back again. And again, wars like fire, like I said, you might bomb somebody, you might attack someone, you think it's over, you got your nut off, and it could turn into a 30-year escapade. That's war, son. And again, my assessment, because I need to get out of here, there are more dead Americans than they're telling us. And I have a feeling it's a lot more. There's much more extensive damage than they're telling us. There's more dead in general than they're telling us. And I think Donnie and Pete Hegseth are a bit shell-shocked right now. I don't think they expected such retaliation. And I don't think they're going to expect what comes next. More retaliation. Inside this country and outside. I told you people already, as Donnie goes around the world annexing territories, bombing, stealing oil, killing people, mass murder, which he's already done. Everything I just said. That's going to make people real mad. And they're going to want to do things. We've already seen that. We already saw the man down in Texas that shot a bunch of people. Right after the Iran thing started. So we're going to see more stuff like that. And what Pete and Donnie and the rest of us are seeing right now is this thing getting out of control. And that's what happens in war. And Iran is known, they've been on the chopping block for many, many years. That the CIA's been fucking with them, that America's been fucking with them. So they've become a weapons manufacturing center. And Vlad's given them weapons, and they've given Vlad weapons. And that's another thing that's not really being discussed here. There's a reason why Russian media and Iranian media have the same talking points. That's a vassal of Russia. It's one of Russia's main allies. Bibi has an agenda with Vlad, or excuse me, Donnie has an agenda with Vlad. Donnie has an agenda with Bibi. So both of them are going to suffer as Donnie tries to fulfill his obligations to each one. And no matter who was president, how friendly they were with Vlad or not, Vlad's mission has always been destabilize the U.S. Yeah, Donnie's his asset. He's still going to try and destabilize the U.S. like he always has. That's always been the goal, always been the mission. The ultimate goal. Now Vlad has succeeded until Donnie snaps the leash. So, you know, Russia's going to help Iran kill Americans, do damage. And Donnie will still be, you know, best buds with him. And Vlad will still pretend he's best buds with Donnie. But Vlad will continue to try and destabilize the U.S. He never stops that. Even when his asset's in charge. Because the ultimate goal is to bring this thing down, and he's succeeded. We're on the road to going down, and there's no going back. So one more time, and I'm leaving. I think there's, from what I'm seeing, from the way the Reich's on the run, not taking questions, the way the news is being hidden from us regarding the damage in Israel, the damage in the Middle East by Iran, how many Americans have been killed, how many ships or whatever have been damaged, American ships. They're not giving us the real numbers, and it's obvious. They're not letting us see a lot of the damage because that'll make Bibi and Donnie look real fucking stupid. Because we're used to this pattern of the Reich just bombs someone and nothing happens. But you do that enough times, you come across an enemy that's willing to fight. No matter the odds. And Iran's fighting right now. So I think there's more American dead. I think there's way more Israeli dead than they're telling us. And damage. Because we hardly see shit come out of Israel. And I know, again, thousands of missiles have been fired at them. So there's way more dead Israelis, I think, than they're telling us. There's way more dead Americans. I'm not saying 500 now, but more than 3. More assets lost than they're telling us. More damage in Israel and the Middle East than they're telling us. This thing's getting out of control. And they are stalling on giving us the real info. It will trickle out, and we'll find out. And Donnie and the Reich will lie about it. And then they'll go bomb Cuba. That's your World War III update. Enjoy, and thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful day.